Hey guys, it's Eamon back with another rapid game on Lee Chess. We play an Ancient Barber. He plays c4. Let's go knight f6. I'm a King's Indian player at heart, so we'll stick with that. Okay. Don't see a reason to deviate from my typical King's Indian. All right, we'll just play some normal development moves here. Pretty exciting time in chess right now. We have the candidates tournament going on, which I've been following closely. Not sure what happened today, but I know Hikaru is pushing for a win against Ali Reza. And if he wins, he could join Nepo at the top. Pretty excited watching that. Yeah, I think we'll just go d6. So this is the typical setup in the King's Indian. Knight on f6, fianchetto, and d6. And then we will choose between e5 or c5. Think I want to play knight f6 first, though. Yeah, so I will go for this e5 break, but we'll just prepare it with knight f6, and after d4, we can go e5. Okay, he goes d3 instead. I think I'll go e5 anyways. Any other plans? I don't think so. We want to stake out some space on the dark squares in the center. It's the whole idea of the King's Indian. Bishop g5. So this move is a bit confusing to me because the dark square bishop is an important part of white's setup. So if I just go h6, ask the question to the bishop, he'll probably retreat it, but that's fine with me. He does take. He wants the d5 square. I think I should take with the bishop because if I take with the queen, he'll just go knight d5 and I'll have to retreat my queen to protect this. So we won the bishop pair, but it's a closed position still, so it's not clear how useful the bishop pair will be. Okay, knight d2. So white's clearly looking to establish his knights on these strong squares, but not too worried about that. I think I want to drop this bishop back so that I can play f5. You can see my pawns are pointing towards the king side, this pawn chain here. And with f5, I could gain a lot of space on the king side, which is a typical idea in the King's Indian. Now, should we play it right away or maybe make a prophylactic move like king h7 would also be useful? He wants to go b4, but I'm really not worried about that. Not much we can really do to stop it anyways, because if I play a5, he'll just play a3, renewing the threat of b4. So I think I will get started with my plan right away. I know I want to play f5, gain space on the king side, and I'm not sure where else the rest of my pieces want to go. So let's go for it. It does open up my king along this diagonal, but I'm not worried about a check. We'll just have to keep that in mind for any potential tactics. Okay, goes b4. So probably go b5, but I think my knight will be happy on e7. But I don't think I want to move this knight until he actually plays b5. So I'm thinking about just king h7, tucking my king out of the way, giving a bit of extra protection to these pawns, getting off this diagonal. Only thing is that the king is on a light square there, so I'm not sure if the king would be safer on h8, where white doesn't have a dark square bishop anymore, so I would have more control over the dark squares, but I think it's better to just lend extra protection to these two pawns. So yeah, we'll go king h7, and if b5, probably go knight e7. Could go to d4, but after e6, I would just get kicked back, or sorry, after e3, I'd get kicked back to e6, which also is interesting because that would be a pretty good square for the knight. Looking at c5, g5, g5, even supporting f4. So the more I look at that, I actually do like that playing. Yeah, we'll hop in. Okay, only one square for retreat, so we'll play that quickly. Now f4 is looking like an attractive break. Knight d5. So I could always play c6 and kick this knight, but then after takes, the pawn would be really weak there, so I don't want to do that right away. I am looking at f4 here. Is that premature? f4, I don't think he wants to take it either way, because if he takes with the g pawn, that opens up his king, and if he takes with this pawn, it gives me the d4 square again. So f4, he'll probably just ignore it and play like maybe knight e5, or knight e4, sorry. Hmm, yeah. It is tough to develop these queenside pieces, especially this bishop. I'm thinking about bishop d7, then c6 is a pretty credible threat because the pawn would have better protection here. The only thing to look out for is bishop d7, undefends this pawn. So does he have any knight discoveries that could be problematic? I don't think so. So I'll just develop. You know, if you ever, like, for example, if he goes back here, I could always just play rook b8 or queen c8 even. Okay, a4. So he's probably going to keep pushing down here. I would like to get some play going on the king side. So how about f4 now? f4, knight e4. Hmm, it's not totally convincing. This pawn is undefended. Yeah, I could go think about knight c5 here, but knight c5 is a pretty nice outpost, actually, looking at some weak points. So, yeah, we'll go to c5. It's actually a really nice square for the knight, defending b7, attacking two pawns, and it can't easily be kicked away because we control d4 with this bishop. Yep, queen c2 is expected. It's still not any plans jumping out at me here. Thinking about c6. Mm, c6 is just quite weakening, so I don't really think I want to do that. Thinking about rook f7 to lend some more support along the seventh rank. Only thing is the rook is undefended on that square, but I can't see how that would be exploited right now. All right, a5. So now c6 is looking really appealing because this pawn is undefended. So if I go c6, let's say takes, the knight would have to retreat, and I think I can take this. So if c6, if he retreats the knight immediately, I think I can still take this. So the only other thing is c6 takes, knight b4 would attack c6 twice, and then if I take here, that still looks decent for me. I'd get the outside pass pawn. All right, let's go for it. And the queen is getting activated on the dark squares there. So we'll give it a shot. So yeah, this is a double attack, attacking the knight, attacking the pawn. takes. Any point in going bishop takes? Actually, bishop takes. Then the bishop isn't a target, so if knight b4, we can just take this and then take here. So if I take this, how can he defend? Would he have to go rook a1 or something? If he has to go rook a1, then it looks really nice because we always have e4 ideas there, actually. I actually do like bishop takes the more I look at it. I planned to take with the pawn to get an extra tempo, but now I see it's quite tough to defend this pawn. A6 is never really an idea because I can play knight takes. And white has problems here. This pawn is hanging. D3 could be weak. So if he goes rook a1, I could go e4 there, attacking the rook. He'll almost certainly play d4. Then I could play knight d3, get the nice octopus knight on d3. That does look pretty convincing, I gotta say. So if rook a1, e4, would he just take? Sacrificing the exchange. I take, okay, knight b3. Forget all that. He goes knight b3. But it looks like he can just take this. Wait, I also have bishop a4 here, pinning. That looks really strong. Bishop a4, he can't take here because we take the queen. So how can he protect this knight? Don't see a way to do it. So yeah, now we're just gonna take here, and if he takes back, we'll take, and then this pawn will be hanging. And this rook f7 is looking quite clever in retrospect, defending along the seventh rank. He could try to flick in a6 to confuse things, but I could probably just calmly recapture with the pawn. We still have a big threat here, and yeah, a6. So if I recapture and he could go knight c3, attacking my rook. So if I take knight c3, I could go bishop takes, rook takes, knight takes, bishop takes here. And if I recapture, he could play queen takes, but are we up a pawn there? Yes, we would have these two doubled outside pass pawns. Pretty unusual structure, but it does look good. Just thinking, maybe should go b6 actually. No, because b6 also opens up the diagonal, so you could go knight c3 anyways, and we would allow this pawn to survive. I could play knight takes here, but then I'm not winning the exchange, so I think I will just take this, expecting knight c3. Knight c3. We probably have to play bishop takes there. Rook takes, knight takes, bishop a8. Just trying to see if there's some way I can save this knight with an inter. Okay, plays something else entirely. Well, yeah. Now we definitely want to just cash in, right? Gonna pick up the pace a little bit here. All right. So we win the exchange. Now rook b8 looks natural. Rook b8. He'll probably go like queen a3 attacking this pawn. Is that a concern? Nah. So expecting queen a3. How about I just go a5 now? Yeah, I like this. Now I could be threatening rook b7 and then rook b1, trading off rooks. And once I get a pair of rooks traded off, then the extra the extra rook versus the minor piece will really start to show. Knight c3, okay. But I think I should do this anyways. If knight b5, we'll just kick him out with a6, right? Just trying to see if there's any cleaner ways to win. But I think this should be fine, because if I go rook here, knight b5. Wait, no, I can't go rook here because that drops the exchange. Okay, gotta do something else. So he wants to win this pawn, right? Okay. Mm, gotta go queen b6. If rook b1, we'll just go queen c7, and I'd welcome the exchange of rooks. Huh. Okay. So I'm thinking rook d7 to give this pawn a bit of extra protection. Yeah, why not? The rook's still hanging on this square, but I don't see any tactics since none of my other pieces are on light squares. Just have to be a bit careful. Now for rook b1, I could go queen c5. Yeah, I think I can go queen c5 here because that forces the exchange of rooks, because if he takes the rook, the queen hangs. Oh, does he have check? King h8. Ah, that's unfortunate. Actually, no, wait. If I go here, he takes, I take, check, king here, bishop e6. I think I can go bishop f8 there, and I should be winning. All right, let's do that. Yeah, if he takes on c5, I can just play rook b1 check, intermediate move, and then recapture the queen. If he takes here, I can take the queen, check, bishop, or check, king h8, and if the bishop gives a discover check, I can just go to f8, and even though the bishop and the rook would be hanging there, for example, you could go rook takes, king g7, check, king f6. Ooh, that actually could get dicey. Wow, he goes for it. All right, well, we'll see what happens. Actually, I think it's fine. All right, check. We go here. So bishop e6, bishop f8, check, king here. I don't want to step to f6 there because I thought he had knight d5, but then I could take this. Yeah, so we got to go bishop f8 to avoid the draw. So we can check, king g7, check. Yeah, originally I thought I couldn't get a f6, but now I see that I'll be attacking the bishop. So if rook f8, king g7, he doesn't have time to. Okay, knight. Wow. Wow. He completely ignores the hanging pieces and plays knight d4. Should have seen this. Okay, so what if I just go king g7 though? Yeah, I think that's what we gotta do. Allow him to take here, and then we'll just try to push the pawn, I guess. Maybe I should go h5 to give my king a square. I think I am gonna do that actually. This is looking really dicey though. So I want to give my king a escape square where it can be free from these mating nets, but he's trying to close the mating net, which he should, yeah. Hmm. What if I just go a4, rook b7? Yeah, rook b7 is annoying. Yeah, I think we're just gonna have to go for it. Ooh, it's getting scary. We could try to give up the bishop? Is that insane? Yeah, that's insane. So what if we go queen c1, king g2, a3? Does he have a mate there? Can't can't see a mate, but doesn't look fun. Its pieces are swarming. I don't see a good way to defend my king, really. Good luck. Jesus, take the wheel. There might be a mate, but there might not be. If the king goes to h6, so let's say bishop e6, king h6. He has knight f6 there, threatening mate here, but then I have bishop here. Then he probably has a perpetual at least. Man. Okay. Yeah, I think if I go here, knight here, bishop here. Let's try this. Not sure it works, but yeah, now I can probably just take this one. Taking this would threaten mate. So probably have to go here now. Check, bishop here. King can go to g7, fortunately. He was threatening rook h7 mate, so I guess he can take this and then go rook f6 to protect his bishop. Okay, maybe it'll be a draw because we have to stop this threat. Draw. All right, well, pretty interesting one. Not sure. Let's definitely take a look at it without the engine. So otherwise, how will we learn anything? All right. C4, normal line of the English here. So I give up the bishop. And goes for the queenside counterplay, b5. We decide to hop into d4. Yeah, I was also considering coming back to e7 here, which I think would be also reasonable, if a bit more passive. Bringing the knight around here would have the idea of going g5, knight g6, and then trying to break through on the king side. But we decide to go here. Knight d5. Okay, normal development. Yeah, I like this rook f7 move. Typical move in the king's Indian. Here we have to be pretty careful because it's undefended, but it does do a nice job of covering the second rank. c6. Yeah, so he goes a5, putting the pawn on an undefended square, which is possibly a mistake after c6. And then knight b3, I would say is clearly a mistake. So yeah, I thought he was going to go something like knight b4 here. No, but then I can just trade. What did I think he should have done? Hmm. Yeah, don't think he should do what he did. Maybe, oh yeah, I was thinking he could try this to protect the pawn, and then after e4, d4, knight d3, how's this position? Probably just swing this over. Uh, should be good for black. The bishop here and the nice knight. All right, so he does this. A6 is a decent try. Queen a2, I don't really understand, just forcing me to win the exchange. But there's still some lasting compensation, which I did not do a good job of neutralizing. I should probably just give back one of these pawns and go like rook b7. I go rook b7 and he takes here. Hmm, still kind of annoying. Maybe I could just go queen d7 there to protect both of these pawns, and then we have the idea of rook b1. Yeah, probably should have done this instead of a5. And c3 is probably a good try. Queen b6. Rook comes to d7 to defend the pawn. Rook b1. Here's where we go for this queen c5. Yeah, in retrospect, this just allows too many complications with the queen sacrifice. And yeah, it's just a bit awkward for my king. So I probably shouldn't have allowed this. Probably should just go back here. And if knight b5, probably just go queen d8 there. Or maybe we should just go queen d8 immediately. Yeah, I like this. Now if he trades, that's an easy win. And yeah, this actually just looks like an easy win because if knight b5, trying to keep the rooks on the board, we just have a6. Yeah, if he moves his rook away somewhere, then, well, the thing is, even if we lose one of these pawns, it should still be fine because, we have another one. So here yeah, then we could probably just, no, queen b6 repeats. Yeah, his minor pieces are good here. So it's kind of tough to get them into the game. But there should be a way to activate this rook. Maybe we could just go something like rook b4 here. Yeah, and then the queen will come in, and like even in this type of line, should still be much better. We have e4 ideas. We have just rook b3 here. Yeah, winning this d3 pawn. All right, so that would have been a much simpler way to convert because here takes check king h8. Bishop b6. Yeah, we calculate all this. If he if he takes here, it's not good because I can go here. Now the rook and the knight are hanging, so if he gives a check to try to protect the rook, just go here. Knight d5 doesn't work because we can take it. And check here. Yeah, so he definitely shouldn't take the bishop, but I did underestimate this knight d5 move. Back here when I decided to go for this, I saw this position after bishop f8 and thought I'm winning because if he takes the rook like I already or if he takes the bishop like I already showed, we should be fine. Yeah, if he takes the rook, we can probably just go here, protect, and rep a queen, so we should eventually be winning there. But what he did was clever. Bishop f8, knight d5. He's trying to close a mating net around me, which is pretty scary. So now we can't really afford to lose this bishop. Yeah, now he is actually threatening to take here. So I don't, yeah, it's really tough after knight d5. The queen is just so offsides and there's no real good way to protect my pieces. So king g7 takes, h5, just trying to give the king some room. Was there anything more productive I could do here? I guess I could take this. But then he goes rook b7, king h8, trying to step away. Even ideas like this could be quite threatening, or maybe bishop e6 and then knight c3. Looks really dangerous. So yeah, maybe we should take the pawn. Take the pawn in this position after we lose the rook. But I go h5, trying to give my king more room. But again, this isn't even very safe. The king isn't even safe on h6 because he again closes the mating net with h4. And here, desperation, I just decide to create some kind of counterplay. It's going to take my queen so many moves to get back that I don't even think it's worth trying to. Although maybe this was a better shout. If rook b7, hmm, maybe we could try e4 here. If this doesn't lose, then it might be good. But yeah, he always has these types of mating nets. It's just really scary. All right, I think we're gonna have to take a look at the ancient analysis for this one. Yeah, so I just tried to push my pawn, takes bishop here. He decides to go for the draw, which might be warranted at this point because if he takes this, now my king forks these two pieces, and that should be winning. Anything else he could try? I mean, if he really wanted to win, he could have just taken this. Yeah, it probably just doesn't amount to anything because I do have a threat, a very slow threat of getting another queen, but if he doesn't have a mating net, then it is a real threat. All right. All right, let's take a look at this now. Yeah, so he gives up the bishop pair. Peter already likes this for black. It comes to c5. Yeah. All right, good. So it does like the c6 move. a5 was probably a mistake putting the pawn on priest. And yeah, knight. Okay, so yeah, it does like this rook a1 move, allowing e4, but then d4 should be relatively balanced. Knight b3 clearly bad walking into the pin. a6. Yeah, I was looking at knight c3 during the game, and yeah, saw this line. And the computer says equal, but I really think this position should be good for black. We're up a pawn, even though it's a double A pawn, you know, let's go f4, which is strange to me, giving up the light squares. Should be easier to play for white or for black with the pawn, extra pawn, potential for these so the major pieces to get active. Yeah, queen a2 just gives up the exchange, but it's still tricky. We go a5, knight c3. But earlier wants to bust things open with f4. The problem with f4 is it doesn't appear to create a threat, so never makes too much sense to me. Okay. Yeah, here's where we go queen c7. Blunder. Allowing the queen sacrifice. Yeah, we should just, like I said, we should just allow the trade. But yeah, queen c5. Looks like we're winning the queen. And yeah, here's where he found the key move, knight d5, trying to close the mating down around my king. Really nice move by my opponent. Yeah, we got to keep the bishop now. Takes. h5 looks good. h4. Wow, so apparently I did play all the best moves here. Yeah, there's really no way for black to defend the king. So we'll just try to create a threat before white can checkmate me. Try to create a threat of queening this pawn. Check. Three. Ooh, white had a win here with bishop e8. Bishop e8, king h6, knight f6. Yeah, I saw lines like this, but I thought it should always result in a draw. Ah, knight e7, attacking g6. Wow. This would have been a cold shower if my opponent had found this. So, yeah, it's really hard to see that because it doesn't look like white can get at g6 at all. But with these forcing moves, he would with check, king here, threatening rook h7, so we have to block, and then check. And it looks like black's just going to go for the draw, or not. Or, okay, I guess that would play for the loss. But yeah, knight e7 is really nice. Attacking g6 twice, no good way to defend it. Hmm. All right, well, this just gets into computer nonsense, but apparently white's winning. Just follow this line. Wow, and then rook takes. I mean, no human can ever see all this. This is too much. All right, so bishop e8 would have been a good move. Oh wait, no, my opponent played bishop e8, and I went king h8, mistake. I should go to h6. Why didn't I do this? I think I didn't see this whole operation with knight e7, but I thought, yeah, he would just get play anyways with knight g8. Okay. So I go to h8, giving up the pawn for free. No real reason to do that. I guess I was just under time pressure. Yeah, and now we have to stop this. Knight f6 is a big threat, closing the mating net once again. So, or not even knight f6, but rook h7 and then knight f6. So yeah, we have to block the seventh rank to stop this rook h7 idea. And wow, even here white's winning apparently. Check. Wait, rook b7. How's white winning? Takes here, eh? Wow. And then queen b2. It just wants to check. Bishop takes f5. What is this line? Let's just follow it to the end. This is just computer madness. Bishop e6. If we get a queen, do we get mated? Let's see if we can calculate it. If we get a queen, he'll take here, king here, check, and then the knight comes in, and the two queens are useless. Wow, it's pretty nice. King h7. Wow, what is even going on here? c5, and if takes, rook takes a2. Look at that. I mean, who can see all this, really? So, wow, rook takes a7. Let's go back. So, yeah, so rook takes a7 here. Would be winning. Queen is just so offsides. Just completely blocked out by these pawns. That is really nice, I gotta say. It was a nice win. Fortunately, my opponent didn't see that. Although honestly, he could have. He had a lot of time. He still had 4 minutes here. So yeah, it looks so unnatural to just play this slow when black is clearly queening. But even if after rook takes a7, white has to go to b2 to renew the threat of a2. But yeah, white still has time here, incredibly, to just take this pawn, go bishop e6. Black doesn't have time to get a queen because check, check. Yeah, all the pieces just coordinate too well. Where's the mate? Okay, apparently there's no mate, but is king g7 losing here? Check. There's a mate, and oh, bishop e4. I mean, it's just so complicated. Like, I don't blame my opponent for not finding this, but he could have gone for the brilliancy prize instead of accepting the draw. Wow. All right, pretty wild game there. So yeah, key moments. We're able to, so we play c6, c6 here, taking advantage of this loose pawn. Then bishop a4. Black, black should be winning here. Still quite winning. Yeah, here's a key moment where we allow this queen sacrifice. So yeah, just unnecessary to allow so much counterplay. We should just go queen d8, keep our rook, and keep control of my back rank. Yeah, go queen c5, allow these crazy complications, and continue with the only thing we can do, which is go for this very slow plan. And yeah, here king h6 should be played. And here my opponent just decided to go for the draw. Understandable down a queen, and you have to see a ton of variations here to make sure that you're not losing. But it would have been really impressive if he took this pawn. All right, fun game there. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you learned something and were entertained by these wild variations, and I'll be back with another one soon. Thanks.